Hello everyone, my name is Curtis Ward, the video content developer for S5. Welcome to our new weekly video series, FAQ Fridays, where we are going to be answering your frequently asked questions on snow retention, solar, and anything else you want to attach to your metal roof. Today on FAQ Fridays, we're going to be talking about 3 ways to determine which clamp fits your metal roof. My name is Curtis Ward. I'm joined today with Shawn Haddock, S5's Director of Field Applications and Product Support. So Shawn, with all the clamps that S5 manufactures and all the different roof profiles, how am I supposed to determine what clamp fits my metal roof?
That's a good point, Curtis. There's a lot of different roof profiles out there, from double fold to single fold to snap seam, and S5, as you can see, has a variety of different clamps to fit those different profiles. Take, for instance, the S5V clamp. Now, I know that stands for vertical, but most people don't. That seam, you can't fit it on that seam. The S5H90, however, is a horizontal or 90 and fits perfectly. Luckily, we have tools out there and online resources to help you through and answer all of these questions, and we'll be going over those today. The first one is our clamp to seam tool. The second one, if you're needing load information and test data, would be our load test tables. We'll go through those here later as well. And finally, the last one is, when all else fails, reach out to us. We love talking to our customers.
So Shawn, let's dive in a little bit. You mentioned the clamp to seam tool. Can you explain that for me?
Yeah, the clamp to seam tool is also known as the clamp selection tool. And what it is an online resource where if you know the roof manufacturer and model, you can select it and it'll tell you exactly which clamp you need. If you don't know that information, you can look at a bunch of profiles online of diagrams where it'll give you the dimensions of the profile. And from there you can help figure out which one is the closest to yours and therefore what the proper clamp is. And it's better explained on the web, so let's go ahead and jump on and look at it now.
Sounds good.
We'll start out at the S5 website, s-5.com. From there, I'm going to look over to the right to the Resources tab in the main menu. Within there, I'll see the load test results and the one I'm looking for, clamp selection tool. I'll click on the clamp selection tool. And here, as I scroll down, I can see identify the clamp for your roof panel seam. The first button says, I know the make and model of my roof panel. So if you know the make and model of your roof panel, then you can go right down below and start entering that information. If you do not know the manufacturer of your roof panel, you can click on the button to the right. For right now, we're going to start with we do know. I'm going to select a panel manufacturer from the drop-down menu. And then over to the right, I can select a product. These are only products that are made by Chief Industries or the roof panel manufacturer that you've selected. From there, I just click Show Results. As I scroll back down, now I can see that it's selected the proper clamp for my profile. It's showing an S5H and an S5H Mini. If I don't know the roof panel manufacturer, I can click on I don't know. From here you can see there's several diagrams illustrating the different panel types. You want to look for the one that's closest to your panel. From there you can verify dimensions to make sure that you have the proper fit. So I can look at this 2-inch trap single fold, and I can see that I can use the S5S or the S5S mini clamp. And I can look at various other profiles and again verifying dimensions. And that's how to use the clamp selection tool, also known as the clamp to seam tool.
So now after the clamp to seam tool, we had the load test tables. Can you elaborate on those?
Yeah, the resource is much the same. It's an online tool, and it's tables of all the load testing that we have done. And because we've tested, of course, we know which clamp it is. This resource is especially handy when you're needing to know load values for design information. And it's one that I go to on a regular basis, as well as there's lots of other people in assisting with design. So I'll take you there now. To use our load tables, if you need more detailed information about the clamp and some of the load values associated with it, we're going to start again at the home page of the S5 website, s-5.com. We'll again go to Resources and Load Test Results. From here you can see you have three options. You have normal to seam, parallel to seam, and exposed fastened brackets. Normal to seam would be for solar applications and anything that would pull upward on the clamp. Parallel to seam would be more for snow retention type applications where you're pulling downward along the roof. The exposed fastened option is for through fastened brackets whenever you're attaching something to a non-standing seam metal roof. For this demo, we'll go ahead and click on normal to seam. I'll now be challenged for a login. The reason for this is there's a lot of test data in here. Over years of being in the industry, we've compiled numerous test reports. This is all private IP and is protected behind a login. So you will need to create an account if you don't already have one on the S5 website. I'll go ahead and log in. And now with this tool, you have to know the panel manufacturer and profile. So again, I'm going to select panel manufacturer. We'll go ahead and go with AB Martin. The product, we'll pick their AB seam. And then it's got some other questions for me, imperial or metric if I want to see the results in metric. And the safety factor, which we recommend on normal to seam, a safety factor of 3. I can change this, however, if I'd like to see a different safety factor. So now I'll click Show Results. Here are all the options based on the testing that we've actually done. So it's saying here the S5V Mini, we tested it on 26 gauge steel. We used 115 inch-pounds for the test, and our ultimate load was 674 pounds. Now you'll see a failure mode of D, and based on our safety factor of 3, we have an allowable load of 225 pounds. So the first one was 26 gauge steel. You'll see we've got several tests in here on 24 gauge, and then again you'll see 26 gauge steel. As I look over here, it's an S5S Mini. So what this is telling me is that I have 2 clamp options for this roof profile. The V Mini listed first would generally be the recommended clamp. It's going to be the easier to install and the lowest cost. The S Mini will also work if you happen to have those and don't want to purchase the V Mini. If I need further information about this clamp on this particular roof profile, I can scroll down to the bottom and request a lab report. What this will do is send out an email to our support team and send a request asking for the full lab test report. That will come back to you in an email, and it provides all of the loading information and the actual test performed, signed off by the lab that performed the test. So that concludes the second way to determine the proper clamp for your seam.
So Shawn, finally you mentioned contacting S5 if you had any other issues.
Yeah, you know, if you can't figure it out, we're here to help you. We've got a guy that answers the phone. His name is Jed, and he's available all the time on the phone during business hours. What he'll want from you is a photograph of what your panel looks like. He'll want to know, see a tape measure or see a dimension here on this panel leg as well as across the top. From that, he can really help steer you in the right direction. You'll email that photograph to support@s5.com, and he'll give you a call or respond via email. Further to that, he can also send you samples so that you can verify the fit.
So now that you have those 3 easy ways to determine which metal clamp fits your roof, visit our website at s-5.com and use all of our online resources. Thank you, Shawn, for joining. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. As I mentioned before, this is a new weekly series that will be released every Friday. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday. My name... Just keep rolling. S5's Director of Product Development, and that wasn't it. Director of... What are you the director of? Field Applications.
I can't even remember. I'm glad you're able to do it.